Yo, what's happening, fam? L.A.R movement still moving. Subscribe or die trying. Um, if you see the thumbnail, you see the thumbnail. You see the title, you see the title. You see what it is. This conversation is going to be a bit of an adult conversation, um, a black community conversation, and maybe I don't. I hope it's not as controversial as I think, but some things are going to be said that maybe you've heard before, maybe you haven't. So I'm trying to be nice and preface all this stuff before I get into it, to be perfectly honest, because it might be ugly for some people. So, you know, as far as the black community, right? I think people want, what's going on, James? I think people want black men to help, help and save the black community. And I think they're asking a task and it's disingenuous. And brothers are tired of the disingenuous black community wanting help. And what I mean by that is when people say you need to help the community and brothers need to help and build and we need to get money and be mentors and build businesses and we need to help build families and build communities. Um, a lot of people don't want to say for who. Exact for who. What's up, Ram? Who are we doing this for? Are we doing this for the people who gonna do right by us? Or are we doing this for the people who haven't done right with their lives and now they need a backup bailout plan? And people are assuming, oh, well, they're black people too. You got to help them. And the thing about it is, the problem is you got people who messed up their lives and want brothers to build the black community who they're not gonna build up their own family. So you want brothers to fix the black community and get the black community, up to Wakanda speed. But the black people who you want to do it, you know, us black men know, okay, you're not going to do this for your own family. You're not going to do this for your own kids. You're not going to do this for your nieces and nephews. You want us to fix the black community so you can get back to doing what you was doing that ruined your family. So there is no way I'm going to work with you. And then the community is like, well, people can change and we hope things right. And, we're going to hope and make it right. And if you believe in these people enough, and if you hug them and kiss them and coddle them and take them places and make them feel special, maybe they'll be worth something. No, they won't. We're talking about people 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50. I feel like I'm selling dogs and cats right now at an auction right now. What's up, millennial? What's up, Ryan? It's though that group in particular that we keep talking about. So you want brothers to save the community and for those people. You want brothers to save the community for people who don't want to clean up their own house, for people who don't want to cut their own grass, for people who don't want to take out their own trash. You want us to save the community for people who just throw garbage out on the street and litter, and then you got to clean up after them. I'm gonna try, millennial. I'm gonna try. Appreciate that. That's the part of this discussion that people want to just skirt over and leave out, like these guys are stupid, and these guys aren't stupid, because every time we talk about what's going on in the community, somebody has to bring up the unfairness of the justice system. All these black men are in prison and in jail and they got locked up for these bogus charges. Some of them charges was bogus, and some of them charges was legit. But whether that's the case either way, the problem is you worried about the wrong people first. What about the guys who went to the military? What about the guys who went to trade school? What about the guys who went to college? What about the guys who were entrepreneurs? What about the guys who stayed out of trouble, which is the majority of the guys? Your focus has never been on those black men. That's the problem. The black men you've never focused on are the black men you want to save and fix the community. And save it for who is going to keep coming up in those brothers' minds. Who am I actually doing this for? Who am I doing this heavy lifting for? So you want these guys to make, you know, 50, 60, 70, 80, $90,000. Guys making $100,000 and up. Guys who are millionaires, multi-millionaires. What's up, Nysa? All of these guys to form like Voltron and build the black community for you. All of these guys see you. They drive by you every Friday, every Saturday, every Sunday, playing around. You not being real. Like I was looking at an Instagram post, or was it Facebook? A guy basically was staking out. He has a tenant, and he's staking out the tenant, and it's a sister, and she's like, and he's sitting in the car like she ain't paid rent in a year, but she was hopping in the Benz with a nice little fitted dress on, looking really good, and y'all forget that there are black men who are landlords and who have tenants, and their sisters like that too. I saw a sister talking about that recently also on social media, that their tenants didn't pay rent for the last 14 months. But when you say you need to fix the black community, those are the people that got to eat it. You know what I'm saying? Those are the people who just, we're going to fix the black community. That's right. Out of your pocket. Uh-huh. And when we fixing it, we're going to tell your stuff, but you're going to fix it again. We're dealing with a society of adults. We're not talking about the children. We're talking about adults who got accustomed to just messing up other people's stuff. I'm so sick of looking at social media and see people hit other people and wreck other people and wreck cars and try to run over people. What's up, Tony? I'm so tired of people just hitting cars and hitting this and hitting that and the first thing that comes to my mind, that ain't their car. That ain't their car. You too reckless trying to hit somebody with these cars, because in my mind I'm thinking that ain't your car. Because you know how much it costs to fix that. That that you got mad, you tried to hit a person and you wrecked somebody else's car, and you're gonna go back to them and say, man, it was a hit and run. I don't even know what happened. That's how I look at these things. But these are the people, that we're supposed to fix the community for. When you see people, oh man, you got money to party every week. You got money to shop every week. You know what I'm saying? You got money. How can I say this? You got money to buy alcohol. You got money to buy a pack. You got money to be 420 friendly, right? That's what we need to fix the community for. You got money to buy pills and pop pills. You got money to worry about if you can buy a bunch of $800 sneakers when you ain't really bringing home money like that. You over here asking people for kids so they can put them on your taxes so you can get more money back. This is who we're supposed to fix the community for. And nobody wants to address that part. That's where we having a big issue. It's like, man, come fix the community. No, because why don't nobody come back and fix the hood? Because people act like people in the hood don't know what gentrification is. They know exactly what it is. You know exactly what gentrification is. So, part of it is like reverse. You got people who want to tear up the neighborhood enough so they can move out to the burbs. And then they gonna come back, man, I don't even recognize this place. Man, these people, where do you get all this money from? Well, really, they got the money from you on one end, and two, you didn't grow the properties. You tore them down. You still paid taxes on that stuff. You just, nobody ever used the tax money to build up anything because you kept tearing it down. But we supposed to do what? What are we supposed to do with this? We're supposed to help these people out. Help them out. Do something special for them. They gonna get it together one day. But you never ask the question, how many days that's gonna cost all the other black people who doing it the right way? So you want these you want black men to save the community, and you want the rest of the community that black men, women, and children to get it together someday while these black men are saving it every day. Oh, so this is how it's gonna work. This is how it's gonna work. Yeah, you need to save the community 365 days out the year. But for 365 days out the year, you're going to have people who don't want to save the community, but one day they're going to get it together. It might be 5 years from now. It might be 20 years from now. It might be 7 years from now. You never know. But if you keep doing the work, these people are going to come around one by one by one by one by one. But those same people are raising kids to tear it down. So when they come around, their kids is just right in the prime of being young adults who tearing it all down. So once again, who do you want these guys to save the community for? And then, man, all these other people live like this and these other people live like that. These other people don't cater to the people who F up everything in their families either. This is where this goes wrong. Shout out to George Macon, by the way. He sent me an email, so shout out to you. I'll check it when I get off here, fam. So now, what are we talking about? Save the black community. Okay, well, let's save it. Let's save it. So one of the ways to save it is you can keep the gangs, you can keep the drug dealing, but you got to cut out the killing. You got to cut out. We're gonna bring all this beef and all these bullets. We're gonna cut that out. Well, I can't let it slide. Okay, if you can't let it slide, you're gonna have to do it by hand. If you so mad at this guy for doing this something or this set for doing something, you're gonna have to get that done by hand to hand, face to face, everybody there. So whoever lose, they lose, and then everybody could get rid of the body. So we ain't got to shoot up the block. You ain't willing to do that, Theon. What's happening? Are you willing to do that? A lot of people, no, we're not willing to do that. Why? Well, we need you to save the community. We need to stop the killing and the violence, but you don't want to stop the guys from being killers and violent because guess what? The vast majority of the gangsters can't fight. That's why they quote unquote gangsters. That's why they ready to shoot everybody because they scared to death about standing up like a man and actually beating somebody or getting beat up. That's how scary the gangsters have gotten. That's how scary, you got people punching old people, but they can't even look at them in their eyes when they do it. They got to wait till they turn their back. This is where we're at. So we got to save the community from this mentality. And if people say, hey, man, if you can't get down, you're going to lay down. Oh, you can't do that to them. No, that's my nephew out there that's shooting at people. He going to be a good kid one day. What? He gonna be a good kid one day. No, I'm gonna call the police if you try to kill my nephew who been trying to kill people for 7 years, because one day he gonna change. God got him. No. So black men need to save the community from what? For who? Because if we stop the violence, they don't want that and you don't want that. So it's this BS mentality where people swear to God that they want it to be it to be peaceful, which for the most part it is. And then, I was watching a clip of a guy in Chicago. He shot at some people, wound up killing a 7-year-old, a little girl. And then when he was in jail, one of the guys who was locked up, he bum rushed him while he was sleeping, just started beating the brakes off him while the guy was handcuffed to a chair. And it's like, the inmates are tired of it, and the people on the outside are tired of it. But here's a problem. I wouldn't be surprised if the same guy that beat him up wind up shooting up a block in previous years and don't know if he hit anybody or not. Exactly. Forget you and your nephew. Exactly, millennial. These grown men need other grown men. And let me touch on this part. You want black men to save the community, and these black men are in the same age group as the people tearing down the community. You got black men who you want to save the community who 25, looking at people 35, 40, and 55 tearing it down. Looking at people 22 tearing it down. And man, if I had, you know what I'm saying, if I had the opportunity that you had, if you were from these, like you got people from the hood, literally from the hood, who left the hood, and you want them to come back to the hood, and they coming back to the hood. And sometimes it's actually their hood. And you got people in their hood telling them, well, if you was raised up in this environment, you would act like this too. Like, bro, I was here when you was in diapers. When it was worse, actually. This is just an excuse for you to not do anything. I was here. I already know what it's like. I was here in worse circumstances, worse conditions. The blocks was hotter. It was more violence. It was more shooting. It was more murders. It was more drugs. It was more arrests. But you want to give me this speech. That's what we doing. Now you got these kids, these young men and grown men. You need to help the block. Help the block. Okay, all right. You need to help them. And then you got the same people, I'm going to get it out the mud, who get mad at people who are working people. You're mad at people who worked to get themselves in a position, and now you want to get it out the mud, but you want them to give it to you for free. And if they don't give it to you for free, there's this animosity. Millennial, I already know, fam. That is trifling. It's trifling. It's trifling. That's what this is. Trifling. But we need to save the community. For who? For who? Let's save the community. Let's do right by everybody. Do right by who? Because people don't really want to take into consideration what you're saying is you want to transfer wealth from people who work to get to the position that they're at, and you want them to transfer their wealth to people who don't want to be in their position but want the wealth. I don't care if you're talking about people who work their way up or who won the lotto. I really don't care. Either way. What I'm seeing is a bunch of people who like, man, you got $10 million? Well, if you give me $2 million, I'll show you what to do with it. No, you won't. No, you won't. You don't even have a business plan. I'll flip it. Here we go. Here we go. You know what I'm saying? I can make these moves and make this, that, and see all of this I could make, I could work on the underground with a bunch of money, and then I could come up. Oh, so yeah, everybody in their El Chapo's dreams. You know what? Whatever, Ryan. Yeah, I didn't. Cut it out. So everybody got these El Chapo dreams. And what are those dreams? I want to be the man. So one day I could stun on everybody. I could drive through with a nice car and look at y'all. And I could say, yeah, I did it. I did it. I got it. Yeah. And when you see other people who drive through, they had a nice car, I don't like that. I don't like that at all. So we need to rob that fool. You know what I'm saying? I don't know why he coming around here stunting on us. We need to save the community. I don't see you here. I don't see you in the hood. I don't see you, you know what I'm saying, around here. If I came around here in my car, the minute whether it's daytime or the minute the sun went down, y'all plotting, man. Y'all been sitting in the house. You 25 years old. Why are you still here? Why are you still, who house you living in? How come this ain't your place? How come this is your mama place, your auntie place, your girlfriend place? How come it ain't your place? How come your name ain't on the lease? Even if you in the streets, well, you know what I'm saying, I'm the one with the money. Your name ain't on nothing, though. But these are the type of people we supposed to say. We got to say the community for people who can't put their name on anything. They ain't even straight enough to put their name on something. We got to say the community. It's like, all right, man, whatever. And then we got the kids part. You know, kid part. You need to save these kids. We brothers need to come back and save everybody kids, huh? Some of these men got their own kids, but they need to save your kids. You mean to tell me you can't save your kids? You and your child's father or mother can't save your kids. Both sides of your family can't save their kid, but these guys got to come from where they at with their family, come help you save your kid. So nuclear family, you know, immediate family, extended family can't do nothing. It's all on the back of these guys who's just supposed to come through and do it for you. It's like, all right. So this is why black men ain't trying to save the community. You know? It's like, wow. Because let's be honest, when you saving the community and you saving these kids, you know who don't show up when you actually putting in the work to help these kids and save these kids? The family of these kids. Mamas don't show up. Daddies don't show up. You know what I'm saying? Aunties and uncles don't show up. Grandparents don't show up. Uncles, you know, I just said aunties and uncles. You know, the cousins don't show up. Godparents don't show up. But then if it's time for a big event, it's a graduation, a championship game, yay, we hit on my baby. See, that's what you need to do. Come and save the community. Man, if you don't get out of my face. You know, this was sparked by a different conversation earlier today. I was having my lady about, you know, I'm Gen X. I think my parents are boomers. We got a population in our community who were baby boomers, who didn't take care of their kids, who were Gen X. Their parents were the silent generation who took care of them. Now those parents died. That's the big mamas and the granddads and all that other stuff, right? You know, and he said, hold on, Nick. Respectfully, my non-black immigrant friends and colleagues end up living in better homes, driving better cars than black people. They don't pay taxes for them 5 years, Nick. Like, what do you? Of course they do. I act like people come here. You come here with money from your country and you don't pay taxes. Of course, they're gonna have more money in their pocket. You know, even if we as black people didn't pay taxes for 5 years, we would have better homes and cars just off of that. Even the dysfunctional ones of us. That's part of the, you know, that's part of the business loan hustle with immigrants. You know, but you know that's a different conversation. But we got these, you know, boomers who it didn't take care of their Gen X kids, but and they're not good grandparents to their millennial grandkids, but they want their Gen X kids to take care of them, even though they inherited stuff from their silent generation parents. They blew that inheritance, and now they want the children that they didn't help, because normally boomers' parents would, in my scenario, boomers, the silent generation, those grandparents or the greatest generation, silent generation, those grandparents and great grandparents were actually the parents in Generation X. That's who stood in the gap for the boomers. So they parented those boomers, then they parented those boomers' kids, and then they died, and the boomers didn't parent their own kids, and they're not gonna parent their grandkids, but they want their kids and their grandkids to make sure that they're taken care of in their last days. You know, look, Nick, I know. Think hold on. I know that's what you feel, Nick. And a lot of non-black people like to talk about the family-oriented part. That family-oriented part is part of the thing, but part of their family is to know how America works with immigrants, and they know. I mean, think about it, Nick. Do you care about what America subsidizing what's going on in Palestine? Do that's immigration too, buddy. Those Palestinians are family oriented. You forgot that part. You forgot that part, right? Oh, but those are good people. I'm trying. Hold on, y'all. You know, I gotta. I'm doing two things at once. Hold on. Let me mute this. Sorry about that. I had to pause for a second. But it's that aspect. It's that aspect of of course, there's dysfunction, and I'm bringing up the dysfunction. But of course, when you bring up other groups, I'm not going to let them off the hook because they're paid by the government. They're paid, period. They're paid in their home country, and they're paid in this country. So they have a bigger cushion. You know, my bad. What's up, JR? I feel you on that. I feel you on that, JR. So you got these generations doing that, and what winds up happening is, you know, uh, 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 whatever you say, Paul Bunyan. I mean, I know y'all go down I'm a conservative, but I know people go down the conservative rabbit hole of talk. I'm gonna get back to this topic because every there's two sides to all of these stories, and a lot of times people don't want to address the other side, and it's okay. It's nice talking points. I get the talking points. They're true in some ways, and they're half truths in another way. So it's BS. But what you got is a society where, like I said, they're not taking care of their grandkids, and you got the grandparents who are going to who want the parents to subsidize them at the expense of the grandkids. So they've been selfish in both ways. And when you got to save the community, these are some of the same people we got to save the community for also. Another thing about the save the community aspect is health, health, wellness, fitness is part of this save. who are we saving the community for when it's time to get healthy? Because it seems every time somebody's saying, okay, we got to eat better, we got to drink more water, we got to work out, there's a significant portion of the community that's like, why? I don't want to eat that. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do this. But those same people want you to come and help them when they're supremely sick. You know, that's the issue. That becomes the issue. That becomes the issue because now you can't even be helpful. You can't even, health is wealth. What's up, kid? You can't even be healthy enough to actually have a long-term fix to the community because people are so busy doing them as far as the food, the things that they put in their bodies that they won't be around long enough anyway. So now you catering to self-destructive people whose diet is killing them and they don't care. So that takes a lot of time. That takes money. And ironically, I've come to find out over the years, the people who are most detrimental to themselves are normally people who don't have or use health insurance. So they progressively get worse anyways. This is the problem. What's up, Z? So when you want people to save the community, you saving it for who? Unhealthy people? Why? What do we like? And the bad part about it is we went from having neighborhoods where people actually planted food in the neighborhood in their own backyards, and people planted food and grew food in their own backyards, to our communities being food deserts in the hood. And now we're buying spoiled food from these same, from one of you brothers, the same immigrants that are doing so well. Who you think, when we go into their stores, the old bread, the old milk, the old soda, the old chips, the old donuts, the old candy, all that old stuff that they doing so great for. We don't talk about that part, right? We don't talk about that part. So now we're buying this stuff from people, you know, and we're getting sicker and sicker and sicker and sicker. And then when people are making stuff, it's highly unhealthy. Yeah, $1. Yeah, $1 top ramen packs. It's crazy, you know. So then it's like, okay, this is where we at, man. What's happening, Mo? I'm gonna hit you up after a while. You know what I'm saying? I was thinking about you. Asked about you today. Uh, so now you talking about who we gonna save the community for? All these unhealthy people. Yeah, man, Zeke, man, thank you, fam. Like I appreciate it. When all y'all do that, it's always humbling. Thank you. You know, this is where we're at. Our community is where is we want to be saved. We want brothers to come here and get everybody right. Like it's John Henry. You know, see, this is why I gotta get on you, Nick. They sell that stuff in convenience store in the hood, then go back and eat good food. Not their job to feed black people. No, it's not their job. But if you have a store, it is your job to actually feed people food that isn't spoiled. And they're not doing that in other communities. That's not what they do in other communities. Because all of a sudden, when they get in other communities, it is their job to not give people bad food. We're going to play that game. We're going to play it both ways. You're not going to say it's not their job, and then you put them in a different neighborhood, and then it's like, look, I got to look out for these people. These are good people now. They'll say it. They'll tear this business down now. Because if you disrespect, the white people, they'll tear your stuff down and not come and throw the food in your face. You go to the Hispanic community, they'll tear the stuff down, throw the food in your face, throw the food all over the place. But we're going to go, Oh, they're not savages for that. It's gonna be, well, you shouldn't be selling people that type of spoiled food. What kind of person are you? Of course, you ticked off the community. You're trying to poison them. It changes all of a sudden. Sickly things. Paul was having. So, but we're supposed to save the community. Save the community. You know, we'll go ahead and help this out. Let me hold up. We're at that point in life. You know, sickly thing. You I feel you. We should do the same to them. Hold on for 1 second. Let me mute this thing for like 30 seconds. So, excuse me about that. But we're talking about, well, the same brothers you want to do this, because what's gonna happen? We're supposed to take the food deserts out and have our own stores and feed our own people. And then when our own people come in with that BS, we're supposed to crack them upside the head, right? You still you gonna catch that work, right? You gonna catch these hands, right? Or then people gonna say, "Oh well, brother, you can't just do that to us, man. We're people. We went through slavery." And this is a whole nother dynamic of this conversation that I hate to bring up. That the whole slavery conversation. We're suffering from post-traumatic slavery syndrome and post-traumatic blah 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 blah. But you want these guys to come save the community. Are they suffering from it too? So they got to suffer from post-traumatic slave syndrome and save the community and deal with the men, women, and children who got post-traumatic slave syndrome but don't want to save the community but live in the community. You got to pick a side, because that makes no sense. No sense. You know, we lost 7 trillion over a decade because we hated. I feel you on that, kid. I feel you on that. It makes no sense. It makes absolutely no sense. What's going on, Jonathan? So that's part of what I'm talking about, Paul. I get that there are two Black Americas, two of them, two of them. But the one that's productive needs to save the one that's not productive. The one that's progressive needs to save the one that's regressive. And the one that's progressive needs to deal with all of the problems and situations that go with the regressive part, even though they come from the same environments. And sometimes, for the most part, even worse. Even worse. Even worse. And it's like, okay, so these are brothers that's supposed to save the community. That's what I'm trying. That's kind of part of the issue, Omega. We save. We got to save one and destroy both, because you're gonna take yourself down saving the community, while the same community that trying to kill yourself for ain't gonna do nothing for you. You can work in the community for 5, 10, 20, 30 years, and the community don't come together to help you, and you dedicated your life to the community. That's crazy. You a staple in the community. Well, how come you ain't a staple to the staple? How come how come y'all ain't banding together and doing something for the people who've been trying to save the community for decades? Why do you think that, with some brothers, you say, why these brothers ain't saving the community? Did it ever cross your mind that the brothers who were already in the community prior to those brothers told those kids, hey, don't come back to save this community. They don't want to be saved. If you got an opportunity to get out of here and make something of yourself, go. Leave. Don't come back. Don't. Because these people don't want to be saved. The guys who tried to save the community realized they can only save particular people. And they took that as success in itself. That's what they did. That's what they did. They said, you know what? I can't say it. I want to say the community, but let me be realistic. I might be able to save 4 or 5 people. They saved, and those brothers did astronomical numbers to what they thought they would save. They might have saved 150, 300 people. They may be responsible for those people being saved, and you don't see them in the community because they moved on to bigger and better things. But you forgot the thousands and 10 thousands of people in the community that didn't want that. They didn't want it. They just didn't. That just wasn't their thing. You know what I'm saying? So now we're gonna play this game where you need to come back and save. And they're like, you remember Mr. Smith? Remember Mr. James over there? You know what I'm saying? Remember Mr. Johnson? You remember Mr. Brown? Remember him? Yeah, man, he was always doing stuff for the kids, always doing stuff for the people. He was always getting events. Yeah, what we do for him? What did we ever do for him? What did we ever do for his family? Why do you think his kids don't do the same events that he used to do? Why do you think his kids are not, all community oriented like he was? Because they saw y'all step on that man every chance y'all got. They saw that. I'm gonna help the community that disrespects my dad, my uncle, every chance they get. No, it's like no, no. And then you want their kids to sign up for that? Absolutely not. They're like, no, I'm not doing that. And then you want the kids who were kids who actually got help. Watch how you screw these guys over. Watch them. Like, man, Mr. Johnson is a nice dude, man. He really put me on the right path. And I ain't gonna lie. I don't know how he put up with all of y'all. Cause y'all, I'm sitting there talking to y'all as kids, realizing, oh, y'all got a plan to take y'all troubles to Mr. Johnson. And he gonna hook you up, and then you gonna act like he never helped you, and you gonna move on to the next thing. I see y'all do this every week. And that's people don't think about how word of mouth works when it comes to screwing people over. Word of mouth works that way too. And so word of mouth has gotten to the people in the community who you want to save the community, who may still be there or probably for the most part have left. They know the word of mouth too. Like, who need help? Yeah, nah, they don't need no help. But they got a family and they got this going on and they got that going on. It's not my problem. I know them. I know them. I know how they get down. They've been doing the same thing for the last 20 years. Why would I help them? Why? I need to fix the community for who? Them? No, thank you. No, thank you. You know, I, let them be governors and mayors, and so people can see where their loyalty lies. You know, that's where their loyalty lies. Say it again, Tony. That's exactly what happened. They went broke trying to save the community. And so you want these guys to build up a wealth of money to come back to the community and go broke saving it. What do you think? You know, middle class and upper middle class black people are doing. They're creating businesses, but they're you know they're they got leagues and mentorship programs. They're doing all that stuff. They're just doing it in their areas. They're just not going back to the hood to their old hood that hoods that remind them of their hood. Said he was happening, fam. Because they're like, you know what? I'm gonna work with these people here because these people got parents. And these people parents came from the same situations I came from. And these people gonna get on these kids about this help that they want, you know. That's what's gonna wind up happening. Because they're like, look, man, you're not finna screw this guy over. Because this guy gotta eat just like I do. You know. That's what winds up happening. They're like, man, what's going on with this person and that person and that person? Man, we're the black owned businesses. What are you talking about? Where they at? They all around you. Do you go there though? Do you go there is the question. And how do you act when you go there? See, let's talk about who wanna, um, Mm, mm. What brothers you want to say to the community? You got upscale places with black folks. See, people forget about that. If you're in a major metropolitan city, black people, you got black restaurants, you got black lounges, you got black bars, you got black cigar places, you got black clothing stores that are usually more tailored. You know what I'm saying? You know, you got the to make it plain. You got your Dapper Dans in every city. You get what I'm saying? You got like Houston, we got like a gang of black restaurants, just a gang of them. You know, you got the spots, the sports bars. Like, where you go? Yeah, go here. You got the places that do, the where you can buy black in general, and they're starting to make stores like that. I think the first one started in Atlanta, so that's the next wave of all these buy black stores, like a corner store, convenience store, you know, uh, like like a mini Walmart of all just black goods. You know, what is it? They don't count that. Who? I feel you on that. He said we got all these spots, but the question is, when you go in these spots, you know, how you gonna act? How you gonna treat the spot? Look, I love going to black businesses, whether they're holes in the wall or whether they're nice establishments. Like one of the places I used to love was Breakfast Brunch Cafe. It was out here in Houston, right? But it was one of those restaurants that went down during the pandemic. The pandemic. If the pandemic didn't happen, they'll still be in business today. You know, you got that. I forgot the brother's name. Uh, kid, go to buyblack.com. It's one of the guys. They actually he bought a warehouse, and his warehouse, like mini Amazon type warehouse, and he talks about getting into the stores because I think Atlanta has the first fully store like that. So take that idea up. Take that idea up. But because I see in the future you really gonna have we're gonna have, as black people, we're gonna have a really connected business lane. We're gonna get logistics in order in this country. And that's gonna be interesting. Thanks to the smartphone. You know, if you hey, you know what, everybody can work a computer, smartphone, not Jonathan. But when we come to saving the community, that's what's going on. That's what's going on. Now, to take it a step further, because like I said, the restaurants out here, the best gumbo I've had is a daiquiri shop out here, Nola Daiquiri. Go there from time to time. I love them people, good folks from New Orleans. And I'm always partial to New Orleans anyway. Little Bill, Big Nate, what's happening? I didn't see if you did the show, fam. I hope you did it. I hope you did it. I'm subscribed to you, but it ain't pop up on my feed, so I got to go double check now. You know, They bought a house instead of renting. Real solutions. So you know what, Paul? I feel you on that. That's another thing about saving the community. You know, we that's what I talked earlier about, the inheritance part. You know, we got to stop giving away ownership. Ownership means a lot, and when we own something, and I always say one of the big problems is that it looks like the stereotype to be true is when we own something, we take care of it when we don't own it, but when we own it, we don't take care of it no more. That's a problem. That's a big problem. Okay, no problem, Nate, no problem. Oh, I know you didn't mean me, Jonathan. It's all love. I'm just saying. I probably responded too fast. My bad, brother. My bad. You know. So now I got to get to that, to the most important part of this. You want us to save the black community for who? And what I'm about to say is gonna suck. Brothers don't want to save the black community so the church can benefit. That's part of the issue also. See, they want these brothers to come to the community and refurbish it and build it up and then bring the property value up, and then everybody has a lot more money so then the church could get it. People that gave money to the church for 40, 50 years, and the church ain't been milking the community ever since. And it's like, oh, so I'm finna fix this. The pastor been here this whole time. Y'all think the pastor ain't been in the real estate in the hood? Everybody who's been in the hood knows for a fact the pastor owns homes, duplexes, sometimes apartments. You know what I'm saying? Liquor stores, corner stores, with that same church money. That same church money. So you want brothers to come help the community and save the community, so pastor could be right there on Sunday telling you to get it back to how it was, because a lot of the churches want to be, scar. They want to eat good while starving out the rest of the savannah. Or, you know what I'm saying? We're gonna burn this place down, because if it does well, then people are gonna start backing away from the church, because they're gonna start supporting other things in the community. And then what's gonna wind up happening is the church gonna wind up, telling you God told them not to support things, and you're stupid behind going to do it because we watched you do it before. We've watched you do it before. God told you who to vote for. God told you what business to support. God told you who to boycott who. But we need to save the community. The church and the funeral home making good money, making sure the community not saved. And people are tired of arguing with you about the church and the funeral home being involved in all of this. But you ain't trying to hear that. You just ain't trying to hear that. You know what I'm saying? That's the problem. So you want brothers to fix the community, but you don't want to fix how you look at the church, how you look at the pastor, how you look at, you don't want to look at that. Pastor ain't getting robbed with his fly car, but people who come in the neighborhood with fly cars is getting robbed. Pastor ain't getting robbed with his jewelry, but people who don't live there getting robbed for their jewelry. It never crossed anybody's mind. Never crossed anybody's mind. He has the pastor got the biggest word of mouth money market in the community. It's stupid. They keep building churches, but then when the community is gentrified, the church still there though. Ironically, ain't that a trip? The whole community got gentrified, but all the people who left can come back and go to the same church. The same church that had the building for 30 years. But what about them homes pastor owned? Did they get gentrified? No, the property value went up. But when people got to go, oh, wow, you got to save the community. Man, if you don't get out of my face, you know, you don't get out of my face with this BS. And it happens every day. Every day. You get ready for this every day, every week. People don't want to talk about it. Oh, yeah. And brothers don't want to save the community, come back to save the community because you don't want to get me too. Let's keep it a buck with that. Anime, what's popping? Because what's gonna wind up happening is you're gonna come to help out the community. The single ladies and the single mothers gonna try to flirt with you so you can mentor their kid personally or talk to them personally so you could be their mentor. And they're gonna put sex on the table. And if you take it, if you bite, they didn't. If you bite that bait, you done got reeled in. You done got reeled in. It's like, oh my, here we go with this boy. This is how it's gonna go, brother. Like I'm tired of of the hood Me Too game. You know, it's like, nah, no thank you. No thank you. And people are using sex as a way to. It's funny how people want to be in the hood so bad, but when people from outside the hood or who used to be in the hood who don't live in the hood anymore come back to the hood, you love the hood so much, but you're willing to use sex as a way to get out of the hood. And then and people have failed for that before. They've done the pretty woman thing and took people from the hood out of the hood. And like, if I put you in a different environment, you're gonna change. And you realize, no, you just bringing that same mentality to a different environment. So that's how you leave people where they at. That's how you leave people where they at. So you want people to save the hood and deal with that too? Like, the only people who gotta call this stuff out is the very people who gotta save the hood. They don't have any backup to say, hey, look, you can't do this to them, you can't do this to them, you can't approach them with this, you can't proposition them with this. The quote unquote gangsters in the community, you can't just roll up trying to have a money washing and money laundering scheme because, oh man, you legit, we not, man. Okay, we're gonna give you this 50,000 and you're gonna put it in this business. If you don't, we're gonna burn your joint down, or we're gonna get the cops to, you know what I'm saying? We're gonna make your block hot so your business don't succeed, but you need to come back and save the community. It's like, man, if you don't get out of here with that bull, man, that's what we doing. We gotta save it. Okay. Okay. Yeah. We got to save it while you trying to, you know, while you trying to, since you ain't in the streets, I know what I'm gonna do. We gonna bully you. We gonna pull up. We gonna pull up on you and say, hey, you gonna do this because we said so. These ain't jailhouse rules, fool. And you got to think about it. Black people who've been in business in non-black communities, white people do the same stuff. They call the cops on you. They throw trash in your business. You know what I'm saying? They'll use the bathroom in front of your stuff in your facility. So now you got to clean it up. They'll get drunk, and if you got a bar, they'll throw up on your bar, particularly, and they did it on purpose. Like they trying to make your joint unsanitary. That's their gangster hustle. And then they'll call her, man, it's so unsanitary in there. I can't believe I don't know what's going on. Oh man, it was people throw up all over the place. It was feces all in the bathroom and in the ceiling. You look. I'm telling you, it's in there. It's just stinks in there. It's like Chinese food from last week in events. I don't know what's going on. They do the same thing. You know, you buy it. You go to the distribution centers, and the same people who are them immigrants. They're at the distribution center paying $20 for an item. Then they make sure the distribution center you paying $35 for an item. And then when you got to price your stuff up because you're getting it from the same place, but they charging you more, and then you go back to the hood with this, man, Mr. Whatever the Middle Eastern, the Asian guys or Hispanic guy, man, they stuff cheaper than yours. Yeah, it is. It is. Because they didn't all unify like Voltron, and they all getting theirs at a certain price, and then they told these other people, mine's different. They still run that game. You can't run it as much as you used to, but it still happens. You know, what's funny about what you just wrote down there, Paul? Who, as far as trade skills and license, it's actually Black American men in America who are actually the most skilled and have the most trades. Actually, it's not Africans, it's not people from the islands. Where do you think they got that? Where do you think they got that from? You think they just came here and got that? I need to go to trade school and get a skill like that and get a license. You think they got that from white folks? No. No. They got that from us. What do you, since people want to play that, why do you think these construction companies have been getting quote unquote Mexican and El Salvador guys and Guatemalans and all this for cheap labor? Because that's how you stop making sure the Black guys in the skilled trade make money. You get undocumented immigrants, and you pay them because they don't have a license. They don't have a bottom floor that's mandatory that you got to pay them. That's what they've been doing for the last 20 years. That's why that's been like that. But I'm gonna get up out of here. I've been on here for an hour. You know, it is what it is. I appreciate y'all for rocking with me. It's all love to everybody. So don't think it's not. You know, um, man, long live the habitual line steppers before I leave. I got to say that. So appreciate that. Like, share, subscribe, or die. Try and catch y'all on the next one. Peace.